T to the V to the L to the I to the N to the E, TVLine.
Camilla, welcome.
Hi.
It's so great to see you.
I know.
How many times have you been to Comic-Con?
This is my second time at Comic-Con. My first time was like maybe 3 years ago when the first Tomb Raider game came out.
You get recognized a lot here?
I do. Actually, there's a weird mesh of like Grey's Anatomy fan and Tomb Raider fans. So I'm getting a lot of people like, when I'm signing stuff saying, can you sign this also for my girlfriend who loves Grey's Anatomy?
And do you enjoy the experience of Comic-Con?
I love it because I feel like, especially for something like Tomb Raider, I'm making the game for maybe, I think this one was 2 years, the one before was 3 years, and you're kind of cooped up in what they call the volume, which is the building where we do motion capture, and then it's so exciting to actually get to meet all of the fans. So you feel like, oh yeah, people are gonna actually play this game. I've almost forgotten because I've been cooped up in this volume.
I think the Grey's Anatomy cast should come to Comic-Con.
Do you know what? I miss, like, there was a Grey's Con in Paris. Have you heard about this?
No.
A specific Grey's Con, and I've seen people wanting it to happen in the States because a few of our cast members went over there, 4 of them I think, and so yeah, I would love it if we had some sort of Scrubs section where maybe we're operating on people. Who knows? They're all good ideas I'm having.
When do you go back to work on Grey's?
I go back next week.
How are you feeling about season 12?
I'm actually nervous about season 12. The reason why I'm nervous is because I feel like Joe and Alex have had sort of 3 seasons of being pretty good, like, which is really unusual on Grey's. Like, they've had issues, but they've got over them. So that makes me think they've moved in together. I just don't trust that things are gonna continue to go well because it's Grey's Anatomy. So I'm a little bit nervous going into this season and kind of wondering what's gonna be thrown, especially at me and Justin.
Do you know anything?
No, I know nothing. I do know that we have these things like the writers meetings at the beginning of the season, and that's when they sit you down and they say, so we are going to make you fall in love with blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh, really? God, we're not even friends on the show. And they're like, yeah, but now you're in love. So.
Have you had that meeting yet?
No, that is next week.
Will you call me after?
Maybe.
But it's safe to assume that Alex and Joe will be living in this new loft that she found.
It's hideous.
It's gross.
It's really terrible.
But it can be spruced up.
I'm not sure with what, because Joe apparently has no money to spruce anything up.
Yeah.
But I feel like they'll make it their own. I remember reading about that it was like this, kind of terrible loft. And then when I saw it in real life, I thought, oh my God, it's like so much worse than I imagined.
You'll be spending the next 3 years on this set.
Yeah. Unless they break up. We don't know what's going to happen.
What could break them up, do you think? Is it the fact that they're not married yet after all of these?
No, I don't think I think that isn't the issue. I think that, like, I just don't trust anything. I don't trust someone else to come along. Justin and I have talked about this. I don't think Joe would ever cheat on Alex, and I hope that Alex wouldn't cheat on Joe. But if it were to happen, I feel like it would be Alex's fault for some reason. I'm biased, clearly, but I think Alex would be to blame for a breakup.
I think that's a fair
assumption.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
As a longtime fan of Grey's Anatomy, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I want to see Izzie come back and really.
I read the article. I read it.
It's time.
I think it was called "It's Time to Have Izzie Back." Yeah. Well, that would be a lot of drama. Yes. That would cause a lot of drama. I'm not against anything that would make for a good storyline. I'm really not. And her coming back would be nuts. Because there's a lot of issues there in that, like, the eggs, which you mentioned, that, that Izzie and Alex have together, I've asked and have yet to receive an answer as to whether Joe knows about that. So that could potentially be a big issue.
And you have a new cast member. I also broke that news over the summer. Martin Henderson?
Yes,
Shonda's
he
other
is.
show.
I haven't met him yet, but we have a table read next week, so I will probably meet him then.
Yeah, I'm thinking him and Meredith.
We do have a lot of single girls
Yes.
on the show.
Yeah.
I think you always hope that people move on after something tragic happening to them and that she finds love again. So if it was with him, I'm all for it.
Are you of the opinion that it's too soon or it's fine? I mean, a year passed.
A year has passed. I don't know. I think everyone works in their own time frames. It's a very personal thing. So I think, though, I do think it will take a lot for someone from Meredith to fall in love again.
But you know what? I think a little sex never hurt anybody.
Never hurt anybody. Especially on our show. I mean, people are ready to jump into those closets in seconds.